Got my hard hat on. It's important. They're like $8 at Home Depot. I suggest you get one. We're gonna talk about it. So why am I wearing a hard hat? Protection, of course. Researchers at the University of British Columbia in Canada have calculated that the risk of one or more people being killed by space junk over the next 10 years is about 10%. What? What? Higher than inflation? Are you kidding me? Well, I am wearing a helmet. That's why. That's the deal. So they published a paper in the Journal of Nature Astronomy describing their study of causality in the coming years due to rocket parts falling from the sky. So they also added recommendations of what governments could do to make spaceflight safer, not for astronauts, but for people on the ground, like us. So for years, rocket parts, satellites, even space stations have fallen back to the Earth after fulfilling their missions. No one has ever been killed by space junk, yet. Although one person is believed to have been struck, a lady named Lottie Williams from Tulsa, Oklahoma. She was walking in the park and got hit by something. Oh my gosh. But the space age is maturing, obviously, and rockets are constantly going into space, and satellites have been sent skyward, and especially those CubeSat things, and there's no sign of it slowing down. So they looked into the next decade, used the forecast of launches and what happens when things fall back to the Earth, and where they usually wind up. Thankfully, the Earth is mainly covered by water, so as one would expect, they usually fall into the ocean. But they found that the chances of one or more parts of debris coming down in a populated area also increases. And that's where the chance of one or more of those fatalities comes in at 10%. So I'm keeping the hard hat on. Hey, looking at nominal flight paths, and the risk of seems to be highest in Indonesia, Mexico, and Nigeria. Hey, that still includes North America, so that ends my Mexico vacation right there. No more Cancun. The researchers' main point is conducting controlled descents of satellites, parts, and rocket pieces as possible, but many choose not to do so. But SpaceX does, but even then it doesn't work all the time. Somehow a piece of debris from a SpaceX rocket detached and found its way into a field in New South Wales, Australia. It was something from the unpressurized cargo hold of the Crew 1 Dragon spacecraft. So, yep. Something just happened to fall out of the trunk and land back on Earth, on land. So, I heard they were wearing hard hats in New South Wales, Australia. Hey, the weather has been pretty violent on Earth lately, and I'm keeping the hard hat on. Lots of thunderstorms, flooding, and space has been pretty active with geomagnetic space storms. These storms are not science fiction, and satellites are not immune. SpaceX confirmed that they lost 40 of 49 Starlink low Earth orbit satellites. Lots of scientific mumbo jumbo about safe modes and stuff that just didn't work. But don't worry, those 40 satellites returning uncontrollably to the Earth pose zero collision risk with other satellites. Hey, thanks SpaceX, but what about my head? Hey, okay, by design those satellites disintegrate upon re-entry and no debris will hit the ground. Well, what about 5 feet off the ground? Hey, I'm gonna keep my hat on. Hey, NASA's drone Ingenuity that flew on Mars was wicked cool. And I'm sure that NASA is learning a lot from the 30 or so flights it has taken. Thanks to Ingenuity's success, though, a whole bunch of changes are being planned for the next Mars mission, where NASA and the European Space Agency, ESA, are jointly going to retrieve rock and soil samples from Mars. The ESA was supposed to build a fetch rover, but who needs another Jeep on Mars when you can use a Made in America drone? That's what I'm talking about. So the plan has changed and the mission will use a pair of Ingenuity class helicopters. What's pretty cool is now they have these code names like the Navy does ships, and that is very cool. And these helicopters will be on standby at the ready. The U.S. Mars Jeep Perseverance, since it has the DNA of the Energizer Bunny and just keeps going and going, will finish the job, picking up the samples and bringing over to the Retriever spaceship. The Ingenuity class drones will be there just in case something goes wrong. They'll go out if Perseverance can't do it and go hop to point to point, pick up the samples and bring them back. Hey, there's a lot to do to modify Ingenuity to have a real pickup and delivery system, kind of like what we would like here in the U.S. to have, our coffee delivered and medications delivered. So they've got to do that part. It needs some wheels and a manipulator arm and an anchoring system to go pick up those samples and hold on to it while it flies, plus some new cameras. And NASA admits Ingenuity will put on a little weight, up to maybe from 4 pounds to maybe 5.5 pounds once it gets everything on it. And NASA should not forget about the new rule for remote ID. Probably doesn't apply to Mars, but they should plan on it. We'll probably have a rule by then. By the time the mission launches in 2028, we'll probably have remote ID on Mars. The design phase starts in October. We'll probably start seeing some cool pictures or drawings of the new Ingenuity class drones. Hey, thanks for watching. Keep your hard hat on. Smash that like button. Leave me a comment. See you next time. Crap.